Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video on doubling the Jamaican GDP from 15 billion in 2020 to 30 billion in 2030. Today's subject is developing the least developed parts of Jamaica. The country needs a national roadworks program, and we need to use the Chinese while we have them. That's today's subject. Okay, now we will be discussing the topics above today, and after today's presentation, I will put some questions in the comment section below today's post. Feel free to like, share, and take part in the questions and answers interactions below. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you will be notified whenever I upload any new post. I will also share my notes in the comment section below. Please feel free to get engaged in the discussion as we try to make the Jamaican people aware of the opportunities that lies in their country. Now, the government needs to start giving the poorest people of Jamaica the opportunity to pick themselves up. The former UK Prime Minister, Tony Blair, swept to a landslide victory in the 1997 general election in the UK, with one of his slogans being tough on crimes and tough on the causes of crimes, as opposed to the Tories who were saying build more prisons and lock up the criminals for a very long time. Not tough on the cause of crime mean that you give people, the poorest people in society, opportunities to pick themselves up, so that's what it means by the cause of crime. Okay, now the Tories, or who are called conservatives in the UK, were also planning to use some old ships as offshore prisons as well, as they could not build the prisons fast enough to lock up the criminals who were committing mainly burglary and thefts in the 1990s, as the poor people were struggling under the capitalist government of Margaret Thatcher and then the John Major government. Of course, you may know about the closure of the pits under Margaret Thatcher, and lots of people get laid off, thousands and thousands, and that caused poverty in some areas of the UK. Okay, Boris Johnson also swept to a landslide victory by saying that he was going to build a northern powerhouse in the north of England. The north of England being the least developed part of England, that would be something like the south coast of Jamaica, which is experiencing less economical activities than the north coast or the east of the country. So the southwest parishes like Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, or the south of the country, the least development. Of course, Mandeville get a little bit, but the rest of Manchester doesn't get much. Okay, hence opportunities need to be there for all Jamaicans to earn a living in their parish. It is not feasible for someone to travel halfway around the country to work on a minimum wage income, because after they pay their rent and bills, they will not have enough money left to buy food for themselves. Hence, the tourism industry need to be spread around Jamaica and not just in a few parishes on the north coast. Of course, tourism industry is mainly low-paid job in the hotels, so, but people can't leave St. Elizabeth to work in Montego Bay because it's not feasible to do that. You need to bring tourism in the different parts of the country. Okay, now 2 years ago, the Prime Minister said something like, he could not understand how his wealthy neighbor spend trillions of US dollars in faraway countries trying to bring democracy to those countries, something that will never happen, yet refuse to help the Caribbean countries like Jamaica with a tiny fraction of the amount of money? Well, I have a biblical answer for the Prime Minister. It's in the vision of Nebuchadnezzar that Daniel interpreted for the king. But let me just say that, of course, some say up to $6 trillion was spent by the US in war in Afghanistan and Iraq. But yet those countries will not change. They won't become democracy. Go back to the old thing after all the money is being wasted. Okay? Now, that's what Prime Minister Holness was referring to 2 years ago. Okay, now, the Jamaican government need to be wise in dealing with the country that the Bible says would crush all other countries that it comes in contact with. These are the remnants of the Iron Kingdom that can only be destroyed by Christ. The remnants of the Iron Kingdom will crush all other countries that gets into its way. Reference is Daniel 2, verse 40 to verse 45. Biblical reference, Daniel 2, 40 to 45. It's not in the Iron Kingdom mentality to build up anyone else apart from itself or other iron countries, because Daniel interpreted the dream of Nebuchadnezzar and noticed that the feet were of iron, referring to the Roman Empire, but then the toes were 10 toes were also iron as well, mixed with clay. So the Iron Kingdom split over the world, different parts of the world, but wherever they go, they dominate and crush and destroy, wipe out indigenous people and dominate those countries. That's how the Iron Kingdom operate from the Roman origin. Whether they go in the, I won't go into the history of that, but okay. All right, so it is not in the Iron Kingdom mentality to build up anyone else apart from itself. Now, since the Bible said that he has the mentality to crush, let's accept that and move on to those who have the mentality to build up others and not to crush them. I say again that the government need to be wise and not to go against the Iron Kingdom and experience his wrath, as Jamaica did experience in the 1970s, but be wise. If you're old enough, 1970s with the food shortages and queue to buy bread, all that stuff. Okay. I hope I can shed some light on how to accomplish the goals of making Jamaica the place to live, work, raise families, and do business. Yes, the Jamaican 2030 vision. How to make the best use of our country's beauty, its appeals, and its natural resources, so that most Jamaicans who had the need to go abroad to work will have their needs met in Jamaica. Let me say this. Africa was underdeveloped or de-developed by migration. 500 years ago, Africa had more skills than it had today. That's how they build the pyramids. That's how you go to places in Africa and they build some great structures hundreds of years ago before colonization, and they get set back. They could mine silver and gold long time ago before colonization, but they get set back because of migration. So in Jamaica, we need our people to work in Jamaica, build our country, not to migrate to different countries. Okay, I'll leave that for next video later on. Okay, I think both the government and the opposition need to level with the Jamaican people and let them know how far we are behind other Caribbean countries and what it would take to catch up with other Caribbean countries. Instead of painting this one-sided rosy picture of how famous and popular Jamaican is and how well the country is doing, we're not doing that well. Okay, and actually, while we are so famous worldwide, something that we could capitalize on, but Jamaica is only projected to grow by 1 to 2% in the current financial year. That is very bad considering the opportunities that lay before us, particularly in tourism and agriculture, not to mention the logistic hub, which Jamaica has been talking about for the past 15 years. The opportunities that lie, that we have now in using the Chinese to build out our roads and infrastructures should be done more vigorously than we are currently doing. We should not assume that the Chinese will be in Jamaica 10 years from now. I'll go more on that later on. With the Chinese currently using 90 to 95% of local labor to work on our roads, we should be having works going on in all 14 parishes simultaneously. You know, it's best to dig up one road at a time in each parish and each town than to be digging up all the roads in one parish at the same time. Let us put our young men to work on a national roadworks program over the next 10 years and keep them out of trouble, because it is cheaper to pay the minimum wage, just above minimum wage, the new minimum wage, of course, to work on our roads than to put them in prison and paying people to feed them, cook for them, manage them, everything else. Too expensive. Okay. Now, let me know what you think about the subject discussed in today's video, and feel free to participate, ask some questions, and give some answers, and let's interact. And thanks for listening. Your comments make a lot of difference. You know, I sent some comments to the Prime Minister and government ministers that I have on somebody else's YouTube channel, and when I did that, I see changes made in the country. So participate, ask some questions, give some answers, and wherever it is constructive, I send to the government, let them know that we need changes to happen now. Thanks for listening. God bless you. Until next video. Peace.